Let's move forward in time. We're going to move to 6 months after this event by counting to three. 6 months down the road, and you could tell me where you're at. I'm in a building in a city. I think it might just be the city I live in, Louisville, Kentucky. And it's like I'm downtown with other people. We're kind of reconvening, and all of them come together. And now it's like we found each other after this event. And what kind of things are being discussed as you interact with each other? It's still a fairly small group of us. I think we're still trying to understand the scope of the numbers. Like there are maybe 15. 15 even sounds high. Like there's maybe 10 or 12 of us in this meeting room. We kind of stepped up to try and coordinate and organize for the people in our area. And what are some of the stories that you're hearing from others about what happened and how they've dealt with it? People are saying there were loud booms and bright lights. People were going into shelter, into cover, like in basements, trying to get out of the light, trying to get away from the sounds, trying to get away from the vibrations. But there wasn't really damage. Things are not damaged. Things are just as they were. So there wasn't destructive energy. It was just metaphysically impacting things. And so people were staying undercover. And then it got silent. And people felt like they could come out or come up. I feel like people were going underground as much as they could. We have a lot of basements here, so maybe that's what I'm seeing. And then it was like things looked the same, but there was the sky and there were these ships. And then we started to realize people were gone. And what is the talk about the ETs and the ships? People are saying that the ships came after. They weren't part of this event. They came after to help to support after the event. It was like they observed that this happened to Earth and humanity, and they knew that people were going to need help. And the people that are still behind, that survived the event, they're not afraid of these ETs, these aliens. And what have interactions been like? It's all telepathic communication. So, all telepathic communication with the ETs? They speak different languages, but of course, our language is different from theirs. But humans are learning now on the other side of this event, this new means of communication, which was innate to them and has always been there. But now we are remembering. Okay, so what are some of the things that they communicate to you that you've started to understand about this time and what they're doing? Or what are some of these communications? They're describing things around energy and regeneration and growth. There's a density on Earth, historically, that's made these things very physically innate. And they're trying to explain to us these other ways, these other energies that we can bring into these types of systems that we've not had here in the past. And is it easy for you to kind of use and incorporate those systems? It's somewhat difficult for us to wrap our minds around, which is why we need so much help from these other beings. And then what does that help actually look like? Is it just them explaining it to you? Or do they show you how exactly to do it? Do they take you through step by step? Can you take me to one of those interactions that you've had? Well, so at first they're telling us, and then they show us. They show us how. But then I think unless we can find the right people connected within our community, we can't build it unless we have some help. And that help comes from them or each other or what? Yes, from them. Okay, can you give me an example of one of the things you've witnessed them help you with and the changes they've been able to make? Well, one thing is just healing, like just instantaneous healing. And it's just an energetic system, and you step into it like a pod, and you close the door, and this energy surrounds you, and it instantly heals everything. It's an instantaneous healing. This is one of the things they showed us. And is that just physical healing or mental, emotional? What is it? It's all healing. Have you used it? I think all of us that are still here are using it because there's so few of us now. We have to heal everything to be able to work together and move forward. Beautiful. And what are some of the things that it's helped you with? I have a lot more energy all of the time, and I don't worry about the past. The past doesn't matter. I just feel confident and secure, and I've just released everything from the past. But it's so different now because so many people are gone. And so I'm being shown now that it's like they transitioned like a death. But it was different because not all of these people technically died. But it's because our experience of physical death has changed. So it's like a death in that your soul, these souls are no longer here. They transitioned, like their spiritual self. Their soul transitioned, just like a physical death on earth. But it wasn't really a physical death because it wasn't about these people dying. It was about the consciousness of the earth shifting. So for them, it was peaceful. They were afraid, but they were fearful because they didn't understand what was happening. But the transition was peaceful, and they're just on the other side in another energy with their soul, just like they would have been as if they had physically died. Wow. Okay. And do you ever hear from them? It's different now. So prior to the event, I would talk to my family and spirit guides that had passed on the other side, like I could hear their voices. Now I'm trying to feel what the connection is like. It's like we're more interconnected, like there's more connection to spirit. It's as if I can see them and observe them as energy, but they're in a different place, and they can see me and observe me as energy, but I'm in a different place. It's a different type of connection to spirit. It doesn't feel as distant. Okay, interesting. I was curious about your spiritual connection, how that has maybe shifted or changed since this event took place. Yeah, it is innate now. Like there's just inner peace. There's inner knowing. There's no separateness. It's like all these levels of consciousness have merged, is what it feels like. That's why there's no concern about these other beings from these other planets, because we understand that's part of the universe, and that's part of universal energy, and that's part of spirit, and that's part of everything, and how we're all tied together. It's like Earth became part of the galactic community that we previously, prior to the event, often acted like didn't really exist. And is there anything you want to find out on this side? I guess I want to understand how we can find each other. That seems like the hardest part, finding people when all of our communication systems no longer exist. Okay, and how does that seem to take place? We can move forward in time to find out if you'd like. Okay.